Okay, so the Eagles just got some huge news ahead of their matchup with the Steelers, as it looks like the Eagles defense will probably miss out on facing one of Pittsburgh's biggest offensive weapons. So how much of an impact could that make in this game? Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley has clearly put the Steelers on notice, as head coach Mike Tomlin just had some really interesting comments on the MVP caliber running back. Plus, it seems like Jalen Hurts could have a bounce back performance in this game, while A.J. Brown is sending a message, and Nick Sirianni quieted the drama. So we're going to talk about all that along with all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles, and man, have the past couple of days been filled with just so much unnecessary drama. And like I said yesterday, it was just annoying seeing everything that came out and having to cover it all, just because, you know, for an 11-2 football team that has won 9 straight games, there's just a lot of negativity floating around when, for the most part, things have been super positive. And the good thing is, at least according to Nick Sirianni, the vibes in the Birds locker room are still very much high. As on Tuesday, coach was on WIP radio where he said, quote, "Based off of what happened the last couple of days, oh man, there's a little 2023 vibes. I see a lot of 2022 vibes. I just see joy. You can look at what you see in 1 week, but I'm looking at the big picture, and again, I see it as everybody wants to get better. I can only judge them based off of the things I see on a daily basis." So that's definitely just great to hear from Coach again, especially after all the drama from the past couple of days. And I would agree, like, obviously I'm not in the locker room like Sirianni is, but I feel like a lot of people and fans are still a little bit scarred from last year's team, so that can then come out in skepticism with this current group, especially when they have an off performance like they did this past Sunday. But all in all, this team clearly looks to be better than last year's team, and the chemistry seems to be a lot better too. And as far as the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown goes, like I said yesterday, I really don't think there's anything to worry about at all there, and Nick Sirianni doesn't either.
Let's be honest, you guys don't have all the information.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
You don't get to see it on a daily basis. All I can judge things on is what I see on a daily basis. When I see, you know, AJ and Jalen communicating about the game plan, eating lunch together every single day, praying with each other before the game. There's going to be speculation, and I get it, rightfully so, based on what's happened the last couple days. But all you can do is judge what you see.
Let's just talk about Jalen and AJ. I see them working to get better. I see them working to get better together, whether that's after an install meeting where they gather right here and talk about, you know, how AJ will run a route or how Jalen will read it, all those different things. They spend so much time on that. You guys get to see 3 hours every Sunday in the most, where emotions can play as high as they're going to play in any particular. You get to see 3 hours of that. I get to see this every single day, get to see these guys every single day and how they go about their business and how they interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to spend too much time on this just because I'm kind of done with this whole situation, but based on those comments from Sirianni, it certainly sounds like everything between Jalen and AJ is completely fine. And now the focus can be just completely back on those two and the rest of the offense getting things figured out in the passing game after they struggled against the Panthers this past week. And offensive coordinator Kellen Moore only sees this as an opportunity to focus on the details, grow, and ultimately get things right.
Anytime we have games where you feel like, and it's going to come up in many capacities throughout the season. I think each and every week you can find something, and so it's always a chance to kind of reset a little bit, just to give ourselves opportunities to focus on the fundamentals, focus on the techniques. A lot of times as the season progresses, it comes down to details, and for us, I think we got great opportunities to grow through this. I don't think anyone's overreacting necessarily. I think it's just a bunch of competitive guys who want to, give themselves the best chance to help the team win and perform at their highest level. And so we got a bunch of really good dudes. They all work really, really well together. I think that's the beauty of it. Is we get to spend each and every day together doing this thing, and I think we got the best of the best.
I have no doubt in my mind that the Eagles' passing offense can get back on track very quickly. I mean, we've already seen them have great stretches and an overall good amount of success this season through the air at times when things are clicking, so it's not like they're incapable of getting back to that. And with this extra sense of urgency now being placed on fixing the passing game with the struggles last week and all the noise surrounding it, it seems to me like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles could very much be in for a bounce-back performance through the air against the Steelers defense that ranks just 17th in the NFL against the pass. And really, for Hurts specifically, the key to bouncing back might be pretty simple, as last week his issue was pretty much just hesitation hesitating to make throws that were there but weren't completely wide open. Or in other words, he was just hesitant to throw those kind of tight window throws and to throw with anticipation. So it's not like he wasn't seeing the guys who were open, it was more just that he wasn't pulling the trigger. And I think a lot of this probably has to do with Jalen and the coaches placing a heavier emphasis on being careful with the ball after Hurts had started the season with some major struggles turning the ball over. For the most part, that has paid off as Jalen has greatly cut down on the turnovers and it's helped the offense tremendously. But this past week, it had the opposite effect as Hurts was a little too careful and it held the offense back. So Jalen Hurts is just going to have to find that balance of both being smart but also being aggressive with his throws. And the good news is that all this is very fixable, and I'm sure the coaches and Hurts are already working very hard this week to make the corrections at practice. So again, I'm definitely expecting a bounce back of sorts from Hurts in the passing game this week against the Steelers. And Pittsburgh head coach Mike Tomlin is certainly very aware that that's a possibility, as he praised Jalen and the Birds' receiving weapons ahead of the matchup.
Jalen Hurts, man, is a top-notch quarterback, decision maker, leader, passer, escape artist, you name it, he's capable of doing it. And so, you know, we have the challenge of working to minimize both guys and making the decisions, schematic decisions associated with what's required to do so. You couple that with dynamic receiving options on the other end of Jalen Hurts passes in the form of a couple top-notch guys. They've also acquired Dotson from the Commanders. And so, man, they have the type of group that you got to make some real hardcore decisions about working to minimize. And so we're working through that.
Safe to say that the Steelers are not going to be banking on Hurts in the passing offense having another down game, as we know how talented they are and what kind of potential they have. And again, with the extra emphasis seemingly being placed on getting the passing game right this week, there's a good chance in my mind that we see a much better version of the Eagles passing game than we saw last week. And no, I'm not saying that we're going to see Jalen Hurts pile up all these air yards and throw for a bunch of touchdowns, because that's just not what the Eagles have done on offense this year. Obviously, they're more of a running football team, but I do think we can see him get back to what he was doing maybe a little bit earlier in the season against teams like the Bengals or the Cowboys, the Jaguars. And obviously, if the Eagles are going to get back to that, A.J. Brown is going to have to be a massive part of it. And if you remember back to the last time the Eagles played the Steelers back in 2022, Brown went off with 6 catches for 156 yards and 3 long touchdowns, and you can't rule out the possibility of him doing it again, especially since he seems super locked in following all the drama the past couple days, as Brown changed his profile pictures on social media to the Joker, and he also sent a message by switching his Twitter header to the quote, "You ain't ready for me."
And here we go.
I don't know about you, but I am certainly pumped up to see what A.J. Brown is able to do against the Steelers this week. And also, while we're on the topic of Brown, I do want to highlight some good that he's done in the community recently, as through his foundation, he's been supporting the Camden Boys and Girls Club, and he was just able to surprise a bunch of kids with some gifts at Dick's Sporting Goods during the holiday season. So just shout out to AJ for continuing to give back to the community. And if you want to learn more about AJ's foundation or maybe donate to it, I leave a link to it pretty much in all my videos, so go check it out. But as great as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts can be, it's Saquon Barkley who seems to have the most attention from the Steelers, as he seems to have put Pittsburgh on notice ahead of the matchup. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage or content I got coming on this channel. I cover the Birds pretty much daily here, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Eagles news, this is the spot. So again, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and also drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. And now with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So Saquon Barkley has obviously been playing at an absolutely unreal level this season, and he presents a huge challenge for any defense that he faces, no matter how good they are. And of course, that includes the Steelers this week, who have one of the best defenses in football and who are ranked 4th against the run. But just because the Steelers have been good at stopping the run this year, that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to stop Barkley, who, like I said, has been tearing up pretty much every defense that he's faced, regardless of how good they are. And Mike Tomlin knows that if the Steelers can't slow Barkley down, then his team isn't going to have a very good chance in this one.
The acquisition of Saquon Barkley has got to be the most significant acquisition in the NFL in 2024. That's what the tape looks like. He's been dominant, eye-opening at times, obviously. Highlight real caliber plays, long runs, touchdowns, etc. It starts there for us. If you don't minimize him in some way, you're not even going to position yourself to have a chance to be successful And so obviously he's got a lot of our attention at the early stages of the week.
It certainly sounds like slowing down Barkley is going to be the Steelers' #1 priority in this game, at least defensively, and that should really give a great idea of just how dominant and game-changing that Barkley has been this year for the Birds, as he's had just a tremendous impact both on the field but also in the locker room. And speaking of Saquon, he's also just such a likable guy, and stuff like this interaction he had with his family before the Panthers game only adds to that.
Hey, what's up, baby? You got? Oh, go daddy. You see that? How cool is that? You excited?
Well, this grass is nice.
Nah, grass is nice. That's it. Whoa, how cool. Can daddy get a kiss? Mwah. Ready? Mwah.
I love you, Dad.
Mwah. I love you too. Thank you so much for this. Want me to take it with me or you want to hold it?
She's going to hold it.
She's going to hold it? All right. All right, baby. I love you. Mwah.
You gotta love that handshake between Barkley and his daughter. But also, how about Saquon's fiance low-key taking a shot at the Giants field with that comment about the grass? Like, I don't care if she meant it that way or not, that's just how it sounded to me and I'm sticking to it. And also, while we're at it with the Saquon mic'd up content, how about this clip of Barkley celebrating with Grant Calcaterra after he scored his first NFL touchdown?
Touchdown. Yes! Yes! Good touchdown, man.
First one.
That's your first one?
First one.
Where's the ball?
Somebody grabbed it.
All right, man. It's such a stellar. I thought that would be like, your fifth one.
And also this one of Barkley and the rookie corner Quinyon Mitchell reacting to Darius Slay's game-ending pass breakup.
They going to Thielen. Go, man. That's on them. Blocking the back. That's on them. Blocking the back on them. Yeah! Oh, finna be 40, still clapping 4 PBUs.
You gotta love those reactions, especially Q having some fun with Slay there. And what's most exciting about this is that we're officially gonna get to see Quinyon mic'd up, so it'll be really fun to hear what kind of trash he's talking during the game. Although, we more than likely won't get to see Q go head-to-head with the Steelers' biggest trash talker this weekend, as the Eagles got word of some big news coming out of Pittsburgh this week, being that their top wide receiver George Pickens is doubtful for Sunday's game, although he still does have a small chance to play, but overall things just aren't looking good. And this is a huge blow for the Steelers offense, as Pickens is really their one true dynamic receiving weapon that they have on the team, and behind him, they just don't really have that reliable go-to option. I mean, just look at the numbers, as Pickens leads the team with 850 receiving yards, and the next closest guy is tight end Pat Freiermuth, who has 470 yards. So again, not having Pickens makes things a lot harder for the Steelers offense, and that was on full display last week, as Pickens was out of that game versus the Browns, and even though Russell Wilson wasn't bad by any means, he and the offense clearly took a step back without their #1 wide receiver. So for the Eagles defense, they just caught a major break, as the absence of Pickens makes this matchup a whole lot easier, and it's going to allow them to be even more aggressive in how they get after the quarterback and how they try to stop Pittsburgh's run game. But of course, we're going to dive even more into this matchup and also cover all the Eagles news leading into the matchup with the Steelers. So again, if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And also again, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. And also just leave a comment down below regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another Eagles video going over some of the stupid drama from the past couple of days, you can check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.